Hi guys, welcome to CarAndMechanical. Today's a little bit of a vloggy kind of update. I'm on my way to a dyno day at Shark Performance in Nottingham, and I'm taking the Audi A4 to find out how much horsepower it makes. So this video is going to be more of an update really. It's to let you know what I'm doing with the dyno day, where I am with the Audi, where I am with the Porsche and what's going on with the Jazz. I'll start with probably the one I want to be working on the most, but it's also the one that I have to make the last one I work on. It's the Porsche. I'm really geared up to be able to get to work on that. I've bought some stuff to be able to work on it in this awful weather. Believe it or not, it's actually sleeting or snowing at the moment. So I've bought like a pop-up gazebo that I can set up and enclose myself into work on the 94 when I do get started on that. But I need to get some of the other projects out of the way. So with the Jazz, the new car that I introduced, I've already started work on that. Done some problem solving, been using it, and although it's a nice driving car, definitely need to replace that gearbox. Might do the clutch whilst I'm at it. I think the clutch might be okay, but it's presenting to be such a pain to take out, it just makes sense to change the clutch whilst I'm at it. So with the Jazz, the top mounts are gone. On the struts, there's a little bearing there, so I bought new bearings and struts, so about just under £50 for the pair. They're going to get changed out. I've also started taking the gearbox off. It's a much bigger job than I anticipated. I thought that the gearbox was going to be literally take the airbox off, disconnect the gear linkages, take out the starter motor, then found out to take out the subframe, so I thought, right, okay, I need to buy an engine support and engine support. That doesn't fit very well. Taking a starter motor out isn't very easy. So what's happening with that, I'm looking at the Jazz as an opportunity to sort of show a lot of different things that you can do with a Jazz. So I'm filming it all anyway, so I'll be doing a big long video on the gearbox change, but there'll also be lots of little videos on starter motor, intake manifold, which you need to take off to get to the starter motor ideally, airbox, slave cylinder, you know, there's all of these little things that need to come off for it. And also I'm having to do things like take off the scuttle so I can put the gearbox support somewhere, not the gearbox support, the engine support. Also, like I said, the subframe's got to come out. So I'm more than halfway in getting the gearbox off, but it's not as easy a job as I've hoped. I've taken engines out of a couple of Audi A3s and I swapped it on my old TDI. And being honest with you, that was a 3-hour job to get the engine out. I've got a lot more time in stripping down the bits of the Jazz, and it could be that I'm not as familiar with Honda stuff, but everything in there is very far forward, it's very tight, and it's kind of ridiculous that you've got to take the intake manifold off to get to the starter motor, but you've got like 2 bolts on top of the intake and 3 below, and I might cut this bit because I'm just rambling about the Jazz, but yeah, I'm working on the Jazz at the moment, but there's a few more weeks in the gearbox and there's probably a little bit of an edit there as well. There's probably a bit of time in getting the edit done as well. So we're taking the Audi to Shark Performance. It's part of a V6 UK Facebook group, Dyno Day, and I want to find out what the A4's making. So yesterday I did a few things and didn't get as much time as I want. I spent too much time on the Honda. I gave this a quick clean. I've changed the number plates over because they were absolutely dire. I've changed those to stamped aluminium plates, and I've done the normal things: check fluids, check tyres, got those up to decent PSI. I do them to 38 on this, and I've also done my premix on fuel. So I'm going to be doing a separate video on premix and fuel. And if you've got a diesel, it's probably not something you need to worry about at all, but basically I had 2-stroke oil and I also had cetane booster, which does seem to make the car run smoother. I'll give some links to that in a separate video that I'm going to do, but yeah, basically I put about 300 ml of oil in per tank of fuel, and that gets mixed in with the fuel before. So what I'm hoping for from the dyno day is to see what performance this puts down, and I'm hoping it's at least stock. Now, I've resolved most of the performance issues, but sometimes it can be spotty performance. The first time you accelerate it really hard, it kind of stutters, and I think that's the turbo vanes locking up. When it's hot and it's been running for a while, it's not so bad. So what I'm hoping for is that it doesn't misbehave on the dyno, but because it's going to be a 50-mile run to the dyno, it should be nice and warmed up by the time we get there. I'm hoping to at least see stock numbers out of this. In an ideal world, it should be making 220 horsepower. Realistically, I have to see what it's making. It's very hard to tell how powerful the car is because of, I believe they're between 1600 and 1700 kilos. So the stock 180 horsepower, it's kind of similar to my Audi A3 at 130 horsepower. Because this is packing an extra 600 kilos, there's a big difference. But then also the grip lets you put the performance down and you don't feel the speed in this quite as much. So mixed bag. I think I'm hoping for 200 horsepower. So the mods that have been done to this is the pre-cat has been deleted, but the next two cats haven't yet. I have not got the opportunity to do that because they need to be taken off. I need to open them with an angle grinder, take out the internal cats and re-close them. Potentially also a mufflerectomy will help, but I'm doing it stage by stage because I don't want to get to a point where things drone on the motorway and it's horrible to drive. And if playing with the stock exhaust turns out not to be great, I'll go and get a custom one built. Other things that I've been dealing with on this, so this thing here at the moment, I need to take this out when I get to the meet. It's a little DSLR mount that a friend made for me. I'm changing the gear knob. I'm also starting to redo the trim. I don't know if any of it's in shot here, but the trim the aluminium trim that's all around the car, it's not great. I've covered it in one of the very first videos I did. It's like a fish scale, but what happens is it shows any scratches really badly, but it also retains marks really badly as well. It's got like a lacquer on it. I think what happens is that let's call it human oils as such, and various bits and pieces damage it over time and the scratches show up. So you end up with half a pattern, half worn away trim, and it just looks pretty bad. So I'm going to be changing those to brushed aluminium. I'm doing that myself, so that's a DIY job. Now I could have gone with the wrap, but I'm quite a big fan of metal, and knowing that it is actually aluminium underneath potentially a wrap of brush style steel or aluminium, I may as well do the actual stuff itself. It does take longer. There probably isn't a huge difference in price because of I need to use acetone for it. But I'll be doing some videos on that. So videos that I'll be doing on this at the moment, I'm going to be sorting the trim out like I've mentioned ages ago. Stuff like this sometimes takes a while to get around to. I'm changing the gear knob. I've got a perforated leather one so I can match the steering wheel cover. I've also got a better steering wheel cover that can go on at some point. A lot of this I'm restricted on by light at the moment. It's 20 past 8 right now, and you can sort of see the background light on the video isn't great. And it's dark by sort of 4:30, which really limits the amount of time I can work. This is why I'm heading to a dyno right now with bits of the car undone because it got too dark to carry on work yesterday. So off the back of the dyno, it will let me know what I'll be doing to this, and I think I've half rambled into it before. So the mods that have been done to this are, first cat deleted, it's got a tune on it and a hybrid turbo, and that's pretty much it, apart from lowered suspension and RS4 anti-roll bar. Suspension and ARB aren't going to make a blind bit of difference to the dyno. So I'm going to do a video after the dyno run, and we'll see what I want to do there with that. Other things that I'll be doing to this, I'm still dealing with the trim. As it starts to get warmer, I'll be dealing with the paint and bodywork, getting that nicer. I think I want to add the Cupra R lower splitter. However, I keep ripping the balance off in car parks, so I'm going to have to be more wary of that. So I think as a recap to the channel, basically the more immediate stuff, hopefully the dyno video will go up in the next day or two after this. The Honda Jazz work's going to continue. I'm hoping that I can have that gearbox changed within the next couple of weeks. When I take the gearbox off, I need to go and take it to a place to exchange it. I'm envisioning being able to get the gearbox out next weekend, weather permitting, and then maybe the following weekend starting to refit it so I can film it. I'd love to be able to work on it in the evenings. I'm trying to work on some lighting solutions, but when it's dark, it just makes filming work impossible, and you get a better quality video out of the back of it. With the Audi, I'll be continuing with the bits and pieces on this. This is the main car, so this has to be the one that's working. When the Jazz, Honda Fit, the American one, when the Jazz is up and running, I can use that a little bit more. And with the Porsche, I think when I start getting into that properly, I think I'll really get into that in a big way. but I think that needs to be when it starts to get dark, get lighter in the evenings. I'm going to start on it really quite soon because if I can get the wiring out, but there's a lot of little bits and pieces that need to be done to that. So when I say a lot of little bits and pieces that need to be done to the Porsche, all of the wiring needs to come out, all of the things like the headlights, the interior needs to come out and be redone. I think all of the brakes are going to need to be redone. Potentially I'm going to rebuild all of the brakes. So the front two calipers, one of which is seized, I've had to take off. Did do a quick little video on that, so I couldn't even move it on my drive. I can get that one up soon. And then all of the paintwork needs doing on the Porsche. The Porsche is a bigger project than all of the other cars, really. The wiring might not be too bad, or the wiring could be a complete nightmare. I think that's why I've been putting it off. It's not one of those that you can attack in a weekend and sort of get done. It's one of those that you have to probably put other things on hold for, and over the course of maybe a few weeks just go through that wiring and get it sort of spot on. Okay guys, I'm going to end this little vlog update here. We're going to see how I get on with the dyno, but I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that has subscribed. We're at nearly 4,000 subscribers, and I do appreciate everyone that does like, comment and subscribe on the videos. Now what we're looking to do this year is the projects I've mentioned. There are a few other things, some of which will be unveiled in the next few weeks. Not more cars, I'm afraid my driveway's about full at the moment, but there'll be more sort of little project related things that I think are going to be good for everyone, if that makes sense. Once I start to unveil these things, it will make a bit more sense. I've kind of hinted at one of them before with the boost gauge. I never got around to finishing that video because of the in-car video quality of trying to show the boost gauge didn't come out that fantastic. But yeah, if you think Arduino, that's some of the stuff I'll be looking at this year, and also if you think of DIY. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.